Okay, everyone, so got my box here and I'm in my backyard, right? Told you guys I live in the woods, right? So I'm in my backyard, I've got my box here, and I've been thinking about ideas that I want to use for this. Been hunting around the house, right? This is just a box, it's something I ordered, came in. I cut off you can see I already cut off the top of it, or like the little, whatever they're called, the little flaps. And I've got this spray paint here that I have left over from an old project. Obviously, like some of you probably don't have spray paint at home. I happen to have a ton because I use a lot of it in my work, and I have a lot of friends that are graffiti artists and stuff. So I happen to have a lot of spray paint at my house. But you could use regular paint. You could cover it in fabric. You could do a whole multitude of different things. You could use construction paper or newspaper. Anything you have around the house. But I really want to create a nice base so that it looks less cardboardy, so as to speak. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pop this open. I think I'm going to start with the silver. And then I might add a little gold, because I feel like on the outside, I think people think of me as like, I don't know, shiny and bubbly. So I'm going to start with that and then see where we go from there. So I'm shaking up my spray paint here. And obviously, like, I've done a lot of projects on this patio table. I don't care so much about it, but obviously if you're going to be painting or something, you want to do it outside, you always want to put paper down. But I don't care, because I literally use I use this table for like all of my painting projects and stuff outside. So here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and just get a first layer of paint on there. You can see it's kind of nice and silvery now. This is like, oh, stinks, this spray paint. You guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. That's not really sticking very well to that tape, but hopefully, you know, it'll dry. And in the process of it drying, it will stick, which I think it will in the sun, so that's good. Totally wrecking my table here, but that's okay. Do not attempt this at home. Actually, do attempt this at home, but put some newspaper or something down. You don't get yelled at by your mom. You don't want any parents calling me saying, my son ruined our dining room table. That would be terrible. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry, and we'll come back. All right, everybody, so I'm back. I am just showing you guys a couple things, right? This is my office, in case you were wondering, right? I've got this beautiful view of the woods outside of my house here. But I am going to show you guys, right now you see the kind of behind the scenes. That's what it looks like when I am teaching you guys, right? I happen to like collecting magazines. You know, I told you guys all know that I'm an artist. Well, I'll show you guys some of my work later on this year, probably, if you haven't already seen it, if you haven't had me before. But every time I find, like, I like to go to a lot of antique stores. Obviously, I don't do that now, but I collect these like old magazines, like old Life magazines. You may have seen them if you've gone to an antique store or like thrift stores. I just like this old paper a lot. I don't know, it looks like real money. Morality USA, do we need to solve the crisis of immorality? How have our churches failed? Has money become God? So, right, I like these old magazines because I just think that the advertisements in them are so interesting, from like the 1950s, 1960s, 1970s. They're kind of silly sometimes. Like, here's an old ad for Fig Newtons. I'm looking at these upside down here, but you can see, right, I'm going to flip through these and see what I can find that I might want to put on the outside of my box. So I think about, you know, things that define me. I think about like my home. I think a lot of people see me as kind of like an artist, like home body, homemaker, So I'm gonna look for these advertisements of like women from the 1950s, 1960s kind of era, and I'm gonna decorate that with the outside of my box. Here's an old Chef Boyardee ad. Isn't that funny? All right, so I'm gonna look through these old magazines. I'm gonna probably make my office a total mess here, and I will get back to you in a little bit. Okay, everybody, so what you can see now is I've like cut out some things from magazines that I liked, those vintage magazines that I collect, right? But I also have a subscription to Vogue, which like some of you may not have subscriptions to magazines. That's fine. I have this old book on the Buddha, which has like a bunch of the Buddha's quotes, which like I love and I think they're really meaningful. So I might use like a picture or like one of these quotes. I'm not sure. These wise people meditative, steady, always possessed of strong powers, attain to nirvana, the highest happiness. So I like little things like this, right, that I kind of collect. I also do a lot of yoga, so I read kind of yoga meditations, right? That's just who I am, right? You guys are making this all about you. So I found this cool picture of a clock in a garbage can, which I thought was kind of cool, which may go with my idea about time. I have this little pocket watch here that was my grandmother's, which is actually still working. You can see that. Do you see that? I see that. It is still moving, which is cool. I found this picture from the 1970s of a girl in a wedding dress and her groom, because I was supposed to get married this fall, but we had to cancel our wedding because of COVID. The mother and child, and then this kind of like goofy picture of a dancer that I liked. And I also found this image in an old advertisement of this girl kind of walking on a hill, which I really liked. So I am gonna figure out a way to get these on this box. So I actually re-spray painted. I know I spray painted it silver first. That's what you guys saw. But I re-spray painted it with gold spray paint because I just thought it looked nicer. And then I kind of did a nice purple layer of paint on the inside. So let's see, I'm gonna start working and figuring out how I'm gonna get these pictures in here to make my background. I've got some other things that I want to use. This little Eiffel Tower that I got in Paris a couple years ago. You guys already saw this pocket watch. I've got this key, and I have some fabric here from a lace curtain that I was going to use for my wedding. So I'm going to figure out a bunch of these things and I'll get back to you on how it's coming together. Okay, everyone, so you can see this is starting to come together, right? I basically just poked holes in the top with a pen. I like jammed it through, and then I used this knob to like widen it a little bit. So this is how I'm gonna get some of my materials in here because I want this watch to kind of like hang. I thought that would look kind of cool. I don't know, but I want this to hang. So I am getting these through here if I can manage to do it, right? If I can get this through, there we go. So I got it wide enough. So I'm probably going to just, I don't know how high I'm gonna want that right now, but I may just kind of like tie it in a knot for the time being. And we're just gonna let that stay. I can always adjust it in a little bit, but I kind of like the way that looks. So that's gonna be hanging in there. I've got to figure out a way to attach this key next. I've got this candle, which I think I'm gonna put in here. I think I'm just gonna like set it inside But I don't know. Stay tuned. Okay, so I have some fishing line, right? Can you see it? It's clear, right? I have some clear fishing line. Can't see it on the camera, right? But see, I have some fishing line, so I'm going to use this. I found this in the garage, and I am going to go ahead and use this to attach some things. I realized that maybe I actually don't want this key to hang. I kind of tried it, but I thought it looked kind of silly hanging. So I'm going to attach it to the back. So I did the same thing that I did up here, right? I just like jammed the pen all the way through, and I did the same thing to this back. So I got a hole like all the way through. It took me a minute because I was just like dug it in there and got it all the way through the back. So you can see it's coming out through the other side right here, right? You can't really, I mean, you can kind of see it. Poor girl, she lost her ear, but I'm going to attach it. So I'm going to cut some of this. And then I am going to literally just loop it around this key. I am going to loop it around like this. I'm going to tie it. Actually, maybe I don't want to do it like that. Maybe what I want to do is loop it like this. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to tie it around here. I think that'll hold it better. I'm going to tie this in a knot. You guys can see, right, I have artist hands, I have glue on my hands, I have paint on my hands, right? That's how you know you're really working, is when you've got glue and paint and all sorts of stuff all over your hands, right? It's too bad because I just got my nails done, but whatever, it'll come off. All right, so I'm gonna hold that, right? So now I've got my key that is tied to this fishing line, and I'm going to take this fishing line and I am going to thread it. Literally, I'm going to take these two pieces that you see, right, if you can see them, and I am going to take these directly through this back hole here. So again, the thing about sculpture is like you have to be innovative. You have to be resourceful. You have to be like, you know, willing to experiment with putting things together. So some of you that may be interested in like carpentry or engineering or being an electrician, right? You guys are the people that are gonna really have the mind for yeah, I think that looks kind of cool. So I'm gonna tie it on the back side, right? So you guys are gonna be the people that have the mind for this 3D sculpture. I'm not saying it's impossible, right? But if you were a person that liked to play with Legos when you were little, like, sculpture is for you. If you liked Lincoln Logs or Connects or any of those things, blocks, right? This is definitely the art form for you. So I'm going to tie it. I'm making this video. It's getting ever longer because I'm trying to break up the steps for you. But I really want you to see how things come together. I'll cut those strings later so they're not hanging. But now you can see I've got my watch hanging. Oops, it just fell through. I'll fix it. I've got my watch hanging, and now I've got the poem and the key.